Our civilization jihad continues. The bombers in Boston were 2 Chechens. The Saudi involvement is critical. You are being fed just enough to feel safe, but you are anything but that, because your government has become a lapdog for a king of the desert. And because of people who are on the board of directors, people who are financiers, because of the power brokers that they're afraid of CARE, Muslim Brotherhood, because of the cash coming from the banks, because of the energy, because you just don't understand global politics, whatever the excuse is, because of laziness, because of politics.
How are you, Bernie? Look at that. Bernie, the last man your age to cause this kind of excitement, I got to think, is Mick Jagger. And also, you know, after the debate, Google reported that you were the most clicked on name. More people were searching for you than Justin Bieber's penis. It was. So you must be gratified about all this going on. My question to you, I guess, is the word socialist. I want to get right to this because I want to help your campaign. I want to see you get the nomination. I want to see you do that. We have to teach Americans what this is.
We do.
And I don't know if we're doing that yet.
Okay.
I don't think most Americans realize they're already socialists.
In certain respects. Okay. Let's start off with what it is not what we want to change. We want to deal with the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality in America. Very few people think it is acceptable or moral that the top 0.1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. That we have seen a proliferate.
But see, Bernie, you always say that, and I think even the Republicans are not for income inequality. They hear that, but it doesn't compute that that's going to be solved by socialism. Socialism is the programs they already like. They like Social Security. That's socialism. They like Medicare. They like the VA. They like the military.
No, that's exactly right.
It's already a socialist country.
But what we have to... No, it's not a socialist country.
It's quasi.
There are some socialist programs. But what we have got to do is remind fellow Americans that every other major country on earth guarantees health care to all people as a right, and they do it more cost-effectively than we do. We have got to inform the American people that we are the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee paid family and medical leave. We have got to remind the American people that there's something a little bit crazy when in America we have more people in jail, disproportionately people of color, than any other major country on earth.
All right. But I don't know if we're still undemonizing this word socialism. This is my big thing tonight, to get you to undemonize this word, because, you know, they do polls on who people would vote for. Like, would people vote for a woman, a Jew, a black? Those are in like the low 90s, like 92, 91% of the people. And of course, the other 8%, I think we know who those people are. You won't be getting their vote. Then like 75% of Americans would now vote for a gay person. That's a big change from 10 years ago.
Yep.
60% would vote for a Muslim. 58% would vote for an atheist. Socialist, 47. It's at the very bottom of the ballot. They hear socialist, they think herpes, Bernie. We have to get this.
But then what we do is we have to make the movement, if you like, to correlate what we're talking about. Because on every one of the major issues I am talking about, the American people agree. Do the American people agree that public colleges and universities should be tuition free, as they are in many other countries?
Right.
Do the American people believe that the largest corporations and the wealthiest people, who today are doing phenomenally well while the middle class shrinks, Do people believe they should be asked to pay more in taxes? The American people say yes.
Okay. But now this has been studied. The amount of tax revenue that we would get just from taxing the people who I think your fans think you're talking about, the people who own a yacht, does not come close to covering what you want to pay for.
Not true. Not true.
Come on. You're saying by only taxing the top
No,
1%?
what I'm saying is there have been articles out there that have been really unfair and wrong. For example, what they are suggesting, if we move toward a Medicare for all single-payer program, which guarantees health care to all people, it would cost a lot of money. That's true. But what they forget to tell you is it would be much more cost-effective than the dysfunctional system we have right now, which is the most expensive per capita on earth.
But it couldn't even work in your home state of Vermont. They were going to institute it, and the governor said, it's going to cost too much money. We just can't do it. It would be the entire budget.
No, well...
That's true.
Well, that's not... I'm not the governor of the state of Vermont. I'm the senator from the state of Vermont.
But he looked at the budget.
Here is, then the question is, Bill, you tell me, why is it that every other major country on earth,
I will tell you why. Because they control both ends of it. If you're saying that the government is going to pick up the tab, but not make the insurance companies, the hospitals, and the doctors not gouge people,
right,
then we are going to break the budget. It has to work both ways.
Exactly.
And okay, so then
here's an example.
So you're going to make the hospitals do that? Because that is socialism.
The United States is the only major country on earth that allows private insurance companies to make huge profits in the healthcare system.
Right.
The function of healthcare should be to provide quality care to all people, not to make huge profits of the drug companies and insurance companies. But, so here is my point. Here is my point. We are spending more per capita on healthcare than any other major country on earth. Our healthcare outcomes are not particularly good.
Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says the terrorists have managed to capture a number of regions in Syria because they're being supported by certain foreign countries. In an interview with China's Phoenix TV, Assad said that all kinds of support to the ISIL al-Takfiri terrorists passed through Turkey in coordination with Saudi Arabia and Qatar. He added that such assistance is actually being overlooked by the United States and Western countries. Assad slammed the U.S.-led coalition for its failure to contain the terrorists, adding that the U.S.-led campaign in Syria has yielded no results other than helping the terrorists gain more ground and recruit more members from around the world. The Syrian president hailed Russia's military involvement, adding that since the beginning of the Russian campaign, terrorists have begun to retreat and flee in thousands.
You are listening to Nonpartisan Liberty for All Radio with your host, Dave Bourne. Call in at 702-470-7664 or Skype in, username Nonpartisan Liberty for All.
Nonpartisan Liberty for All, nonpartisanlibertyforall.com, and Spreaker.com are the places you want to go to listen to the show. You can find all of the archives at Spreaker.com. Every single show that I've ever done, I wouldn't listen to too old of the shows because that's even before the sound quality was really good. I'd only go back to I think maybe February or March or something. Don't go back further than that because, there are some good interviews, to be honest, but the sound quality wasn't as good, and I probably wasn't as good neither. Not that I'm saying I'm great now, but I wasn't. I was badder or worse. I guess badder is not a word. So I wanted to get back to this. One of the clips I played was Bernie Sanders, not really the one I wanted to play, but it talks about, to me, he really didn't go into it, but about democratic socialism, how Bill Maher is talking about, we need to change people's ideas of socialism. Well, socialism, I think, is where things are going. And usually you have the elite at the top, though, that it doesn't apply to. And I'm not saying that democratic socialism would lead to all of these people dying like in all these other regimes. But it probably would lead to something like Venezuela and what it is now. Now, there were some things, I think, that they did there that, of course, they would say, well, we wouldn't, violate your rights here and we wouldn't violate your rights there. But as far as what's going on with the prices, the setting of what their currency is worth, and people not being able to buy things, people not being able to even get toilet paper, a whole black market opening up. And there was an article I found as well, and I've been wanting to talk about this article for days, so let me talk about this before I get back to what I wanted to talk about regarding being more scared of the so-called terrorists and the U.S. government. But the article talks about how, the police here are talking about this war on police, which is a bunch of bullshit. They use it to try to exploit people's feelings for police and feel bad for them and all of this bullshit. But nothing has changed. There's been a couple more police that actually got charged. Besides that, that's about it. But what they're doing in Venezuela is the country now has the second highest homicide rate in the world. And that's all because of socialism. Now, never mind the because you could say it's democratic socialism too, where they elect somebody, but even never mind that part of it, of the leader murdering people and things like that. But when you have the prices and the things that people are used to be getting, not being able to get, I mean, these are the type of things that happen. So there really is a war on the police, and it's not about for freedom or anything like that. It's about gangs just murdering police and doing it so they can commit whatever crimes they're committing. They're able to exchange the bolivars, I think is the name of their currency there, for U.S. dollars. And when they're able to do that, they make actually a lot of money off it, and they're able to buy all these things. So they're stealing weapons from the police and selling them and doing things like that. So they actually have declared war on the police, and they're killing all of these police because they want to get the guns, and because they want to, because the economy is so fucked up over there, and the cops don't make anything neither. So there was a statement made about, I don't see Bernie Sanders, killing millions of people like a Castro or, somebody like that. And it doesn't have to be about that. What happens usually in those socialist countries, and I'm not saying even if the U.S. became a socialist country, this is what would happen, although I think crime would go up and the whole economy would be destroyed, and you wouldn't have all of these things that you have. Because what happens is, businesses will leave, go elsewhere. You won't have the same economy. They think that they can take all this money and then use it for something else, like it will still be there. No, if you up the taxes on corporations, they're either going to leave or they're not going to make the same amount of money that they're making. So it's not going to be it's like saying, okay, instead of taking, I have $100,000 instead of using it for this, then I'm going to use it for that. It's not going to work that way because that $100,000 isn't going to be there anymore.